Carol at Pentland Plants. Now, a lot of you have been on our poinsettia tours in the past years, and unfortunately, because of all the coronavirus restrictions, we didn't feel we could do the whole thing as normal this year. So what I'm going to do is take you on a virtual tour of our greenhouses. Now, it might be a bit stuttering, stop-starty, but we'll do our best. Tina's on the other end of that camera, and I'm going to leap over pipes and nip through windows and doors, so you'll need to bear with us. So, poinsettias obviously originally come from Mexico. In Mexico, they're a massive big 3 to 4 meter size tree, and they grow outside. Over the years, we have grown them and made them into the Christmas plant. A chap from America, from South Carolina, called Joel Robert Poinsett, he discovered them in Mexico in the 1820s, saw them and thought, oh, I wonder if I could grow them. So he took some plants back to America, started to grow them on, and that was the beginning of poinsettias. And obviously the reason people love them is because they turn red at Christmas time, and that's what makes them so popular. Now, in the early 60s, my grandfather, Joseph Spray, he saw a thing in an American journal and thought, I could grow poinsettias. Nobody else was doing that at that time. And what he did was he bought some dried roots of poinsettias from America, sent them back to Scotland, grew them on, put them into leaf, took cuttings, and then tried to grow them into a plant. Now this was many years ago, obviously. So he did this, he grew them into a plant, they turned red at Christmas, he took them to market, and nobody bought them. Nobody wanted them, they didn't know what they were, didn't know what to do with them, so he was like way ahead of his time. And he just kind of thought, okay, fine, try that, didn't work, move on. Now, roll on several years to probably nearly 30 years ago, and my father, David, thought, I'll have another go at growing poinsettias, and there wasn't many people doing it at that time, so we started to grow poinsettias then. We supplied supermarkets at that time, so we grew like a 1 litre pot and grew them quite close together to supply supermarkets. And over the years we've got better and better at it. Now we just supply garden centres in Scotland and the north of England, and we grow a bigger, better plant with more bracts, and we think it's a much more superior plant to what you'll get in a supermarket. We've grown hundreds of thousands over the years, and each year, as I say, we get better at it, we learn a bit more, and now I think, you know, there's hardly anybody in the UK growing poinsettias, and we're the main people in Scotland. So you can see behind me a huge sea of red. Obviously they don't just come in red, we've got lots of other colours which I'll show you later. This year we're growing about 50,000 poinsettias, and now they're starting to be dispatched and to go out. But I wanted to do this video now while they were still looking perfect and you get this gorgeous sea of red. Now I'm going to move, jump over the pipes and take you through to the next greenhouse. Walk this way. So as you come into this greenhouse, obviously you can see some of the colours behind me. Now what I wanted to show you was how we actually grow them. So you can see again this big sea of red behind me. We buy rooted cuttings in July from Kenya. We then pot them up into little pots, and they're grown pot thick, and then we grow them on and space them out a bit. So what you're looking for in a poinsettia is, obviously this is a red one. Over the years we've kind of looked at lots of different varieties. In the very beginning they were very uneven, and there were kind of arms and legs up here and down here. What you obviously are looking for is a nice even surface on top. You want all the bracts to be the same sort of level. Now, a lot of people think that the red bits are the flowers, but that's a coloured bract. Inside, in the very middle, you can just see them starting. This is the flower that's going to develop in here. That's called the cyathea. That will turn yellow and turn into a kind of little bottle brush effect. That's the flower, these are bracts. And these colour up as the days get shorter. So as you go into November, they start to colour up and look like this. So we buy them as a little tiny rooted cutting. We then, let me find the one, here's the one. If you did nothing to that little rooted cutting, what would happen is it would just grow one big tall stem, one big bract on top, and it would not be very appealing really. So what we do is we pinch them back, we cut the top off. So this bit here was the original cutting. You can see there where we have nipped that off, and what that does is it makes all these branches break or grow away underneath here. Because what we want is lots and lots of bracts. The more bracts you can get on a poinsettia, the better it is. So if you pinch it back, we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bracts with flowers on top. And that's what makes them better, because we've got more colour on them. We grow them in a very rough compost because they like a lot of drainage. So you can see the compost here is very rough. It's got lots of bits in it, lumpy bits, lots of fibrous bits like this. We also put the little white bits here are perlite. We put that in to make it more free draining. We've discovered over the years that they like to be very free draining. You can also see, can you see that? That little bobbly bead there is osmocote. So that's the fertilizer. When we put that in when the compost was made, and that will feed your plant right through until the end of the season. So you don't need to feed it from now on. Lots of nice roots growing like this. So then, again, you can see lots of poinsettias behind us, all starting to colour up as well. We're obviously packing just now, so there's lots of trolleys of plants going out as well and people working. Right, what else am I going to tell you? Obviously, the poinsettias need a lot of heat to grow. Over the years, when we first started growing poinsettias, we were on oil, and we got to the point where it was costing so much money to heat with oil that we really had to decide we need to work out how to do this more cost effectively, or just stop growing poinsettias. And over the years, a lot of growers have stopped growing them. But at that point, we decided we were going to change to biomass. So we use wood to heat the water in the pipes in the greenhouse. And that is a more cost-effective way, and a renewable source and carbon neutral as well. So all these things are really good because they're good for the environment, and they mean we can grow poinsettias with enough heat. When we first start them off, at the moment it's only about 15 or 16 degrees in this greenhouse because they've grown and they're now just sitting quietly waiting to go out to your homes. When they first start growing, they're about 21, 22 degrees. If you don't give them enough temperature, the bracts don't get big. Now I know this is a white one, but if you give them lots of high temperature, these bracts elongate and get bigger. So you get nice big bracts and, you know, full of colour. The other thing too is with the red ones especially, I know this one's white, with the red ones, if you don't give them lots of heat early on, they are dark and dingy looking. You'll see all our plants are bright red because they've had plenty of heat. So they've got big bracts and plenty of heat. The way we water them is, you'll see here, underneath these plants, so the plants are all spaced out, so they've each got plenty of space. Underneath here, there's capillary matting. So there's a layer of plastic, capillary matting on top, ooze tubes which are connected to water, so we can turn these on and have water coming through these pipes. Then the plastic goes back on top, but you can see there's holes in the plastic. So when we have our plants sitting on them, underneath there you can see there's holes that are touching the capillary matting. So they will suck up the water. And there's some holes that are just sitting proud of the surface, so air can go into there to get to the roots. And the reason why there's holes in the plastic is you want the water to be able to be sucked up from the capillary matting, but poinsettias hate humidity, so they do not want any moisture, any humidity underneath here, because if you do that, then the lower leaves will get botrytis and then they'll fall off and become bare. So you want water but not humidity. So whatever you do, never spray your poinsettia. You know, some plants like moisture and like spray. Never ever do that. So obviously we have different sizes of poinsettias. This is what we call a 15 centimetre pot. And if you look at this, this is how we decide how we're going to treat them each year. We have a tracking system. So we have the heights up here, we have the week numbers here. So and the top track is how tall we want them to be, and the bottom track is the smallest we want them to be. So what we're trying to do, you can see we measured them that week there, they were right in the middle. We measured them that week there, they were right in the middle. maybe here they were a bit short. So we can either decide to put extra feed in, and you know, we've got various ways of treating them so that they end up, you can see they've ended up just right on the top of the acceptable height for each size. So this is for a 15 centimetre pot. This is the height we want, which is about 40 centimetres maximum. So we track them every week so we know how big they're getting. Now, come across and I'll show you all the different colours that we have. You can see in the distance we've got lots of them sitting out there. So, obviously there's lots and lots of different colours of red, but there's also lots of other colours. I'll show you the sizes first, because we grow them in different sizes depending on what you like. So this is our little tots. This is a 6 centimetre, which is just perfect for a dining table, something like that. Little totty thing, one stem. You can see this is not pinched. We start growing this later so that it turns colour quicker. So it doesn't really grow very much before it turns colour. So that's a 6 centimetre. Then we go on to a 10.5 centimetre. Again, a nice small size just to put on a dining table. Then we do have some 1 litres, but our main line really now is this size, which is a 1.5 litre. Now, all the colours are quite different, so it depends. Tina and I were discussing earlier, this is the one I like, this is the one she likes the least. This is cinnamon, which I think is gorgeous because it's a kind of nice soft peachy colour. You know, if you look after your poinsettias, which I'm sure you all will, this will last through into next year, no problem. So you might not want a red one, because really once it's past Christmas it kind of dates. So that's cinnamon, which I like. This is Feelings Fantasy. So this is a deeper colour. These little yellow traps, just while I'm here, we put these out throughout the crop so we can see if we have any bugs. They fly into them and stick to them, so we can see if we have anything that we need to deal with. We do use nematodes for any things like scarred fly. We use nematodes to solve any pest problems. But these are scattered just so we can catch things and see what they are. So this is a nice kind of a warmer, richer colour. Then we've got pink. Now, I mean, look at the size of this plant. I mean, look at the size of that. How many? I'm not even going to count how many bracts, because it'll take too long. But this is obviously one. This is beauty pink, which breaks really well, which means when we pinch them, you get lots and lots and lots of branches. So you get this massive head of pink bracts. So that's a really popular one. And then we've got a couple of the kind of creamy white colours. This one is Feelings White. And again, you can see the difference in not only the colour. So this is a kind of a white version. So is this one here. But look at the difference in colour, and also look at the bracts. This is a very smooth bract. This one has got this, I think it's quite nice because it's kind of like a holly shaped leaf. So it gives you a lot more texture as well. That one is called Alaska White. And again, a big beefy plant, really beautiful. This is Beauty Queen, so it's got kind of an outside of red and then a kind of paler centre. That's a very popular one as well. And then this is one of the new orange ones. We had one called Electric Fire, which was a beautiful, beautiful colour. But the way it branched was very, very horizontal branches. And when you put them into a sleeve, then quite often they tended to break. So this is a new version. It doesn't even have a name. It's called 153 at the moment. So it doesn't even have its own name yet. But if it's popular and people like it, it will be given a name and it will become part of production. Other ones we've got this one, Christmas Universe, Christmas Eve, which is a really popular one. Nice, huge bracts, as you can see. Christmas Break. This is a new one, which is called number 183 at the moment. But you can see the size of the bracts on this. I mean, this really is absolutely gigantic. So, you know, we try new ones every year to see what we think and make decisions on that. Now, a lot of people ask us, how do I get my poinsettia to flower and to come back into colour for next year? Now, imagine if you can give your plant this kind of condition, plenty of light, no cold drafts, fresh water, they will just sit and grow and grow and grow indefinitely. They won't just die after Christmas. The hard part is to get them to colour up for next year. It's easy when you've got a big crop like this, but it's quite difficult in your own house, because what you need to do is you need to, between mid-September and mid-October, the plant must get no light, no artificial light after it goes dark outside. So at kind of 5 o'clock, at that time it's probably about 6 o'clock, can't have any artificial lights. So it can't be in a room where you've got artificial lights. They can't be beside a window where you've got street lights. They must be in the dark. So you either have to put them into a cupboard at night and then bring them back out during the day, or have them in a room where it's still warm but you're not using it and it's not getting any artificial light. So it's quite tricky to do, but not impossible. So if you want to do that, what you would do in maybe end of February, beginning of March, cut your plant back. So if it's like this just now, cut it back to about 1/3 of its normal size, repot it, begin to feed it, and as you get you'll get lots of new branches, lots of new growth, and just treat it like a normal house plant for the rest of the year until you get to mid-September. Then you need to make sure it doesn't get artificial light. And if you do that, then it will colour up white or pink or red, whatever it was this year. So it's not easy, but it's not impossible. As I say, it's much easier when you've got 50,000 of them. So I hope that's given you an insight into all our poinsettia crop. We're sad not to be able to take you all through the greenhouses, but this was the next best thing. And I really hope we can welcome you back as normal next year, fingers crossed. But until then, do come out to the garden centre, and we have, lots and lots of beautiful plants waiting to go back to your home.